Hey everyone, this is Casual Fanatic.
Film reviews without the shoes.
I'm Luca, your casual viewer.
And I'm Cayman, your fanatic. So how are things going with you, Luca?
Things are going good. I am actually out and about meeting people. I'm trying to be a part of an ultimate disc golf group, or ultimate group, and then as well a disc golf group, and then I'm playing volleyball with people and soccer with people. So I'm out there. I'm trying to make friends, man.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's going good. Actually, right after this, I'm probably gonna go out and play some volleyball with people. And let's see what else happened. Yesterday, at night, there was a professional a professional bike race with pros.
Yeah.
And so I was watching that. And then someone actually recognized me there from volleyball, which was interesting. Never have I been recognized in Colorado yet, so it was the first.
They said, "Hey, did I play volleyball with you?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, well, low-key, I forgot. I was like, "Huh?" And then they were like, "The volleyball at the blah blah blah," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I was there." I didn't really recognize them, quite honestly, but that happens. What about you?
I haven't really done anything too exciting this week. Just been trying to finish up a project. We had to push back the schedule a little bit because there was just so much to do, but hoping to get it sent out this upcoming week, and then it'll be nice to have a second to cool down before I start my next project.
Yeah. Wait, you have a cooldown period before you start another project?
I mean, just it's not like I'm just sitting around doing nothing, but the end of a project is always busier than the beginning of a project.
Oh, I got you.
So I'll have time to catch up on some other stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. That sounds good.
Yeah. And I will
sometimes
say,
a relaxing weekend is worth.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Funnily enough, even though we just got back from being off for a couple weeks, we are also we will have been off the week before this comes out, because as of the time of recording this, next weekend, Elaine and I are going out of town.
Oh, okay. Where y'all going?
We are going to Florida.
Florida for vacation or visiting someone?
Well, Elena's birthday is on Saturday, and then we have one of our friends also has a birthday, and so we're celebrating both of them. But we're
that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. New friend or old friend?
Old friend.
Nice.
It's Lizzie. You've met her.
Oh yeah. Liz.
Yeah. Her birthday
awesome.
Is on the 16th.
Okay. Awesome.
And Elena's is on the 13th. So
3 days.
I think we're gonna be in Florida until the 17th. Yeah.
Oh damn. So how many days is that total?
A good chunk. That's four days. I think we're coming back on the 17th. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. Awesome.
Oh,
good. Anywho, what are we discussing today? Which film?
Today, we are going to be discussing Spider-Man Homecoming, which came out in 2017. I believe this came out right after Civil War. Let me double check real quick. I forgot to get... Oh, Lord. Hold on, I'm making a mess now. Something stuck to my microphone. Why is this so sticky?
What?
I need to clean my desk.
Ew. All the food you eat on there.
No, it's I got a toy from work that for what's it called? St. Patrick's Day, and it had stickers and shit on it, and I just haven't thrown it away yet, and then it got stuck to my desk.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so there were two other movies between Civil War and Spider-Man. There was the first Doctor Strange movie. Have you seen Doctor Strange?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard introduction movie for a character. It is interesting, I guess, in the way that before Doctor Strange, Marvel was very technology focused, and even with characters like Thor, in the first Thor movie, there's a scene where he explains to Jane that he is like, oh, well, in your world you call it science, and in my world we call it magic, but they're really pretty much the same thing. And so like in like early Marvel movies, they were like kind of trying to, they weren't really sure how people would react to just straight up magic abilities. So they were trying to like hand wave it a little bit. But then with Doctor Strange, they were like, no, this is actually just magic.
Interesting.
And then after that, there was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Did you ever get around to watching that?
I don't think I did, actually.
Ruined.
I don't know.
I know we briefly discussed it when we were doing the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But there's not really any like long-term effects of that movie. Like I said before, it's a very like personal journey for all of the characters, sort of exploring everyone's relationship with their fathers and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But good movie, just not important.
Okay. See? Not important. That's all I needed to know.
But yes, today we are talking about Spider-Man Homecoming, which was directed by John Watts. And actually, this movie, although it was produced by Marvel Studios, is not actually a Disney movie. It is a Sony film, because back in like early 2010s, there was a lot of like discussion and stuff, and eventually there was a deal that got struck between Marvel and Sony, where Sony owns the rights to all of the solo Spider-Man films still, but he is like allowed to show up in Marvel movies, and then they can also use a couple like Marvel characters in the solo Spider-Man movies. And so it's like kind of a messy situation, but basically it like Marvel is pretty much in control of these Spider-Man movies, but Sony gets it's their movie. You know what I mean?
Kinda, I think, yeah.
It's a whole thing. But
how do they split the money, the profit?
I could look up numbers for you if you want.
No, I mean, I guess that'd be like interesting. Like, I guess also like the business side of things, like when two big conglomerates are, you know, getting together, I wonder if it's 50-50 or
it's definitely not. I think Marvel gets a better deal here. More.
Yeah.
But this movie had an estimated budget of $175 million, and it made about $880 million.
Oh wow, not bad. Very good, actually.
Pretty solid.
That was a very low budget too.
Yeah, definitely lower than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I wonder why.
But I mean,
they made massive profits too, so it makes sense.
So what did you think about Spider-Man Homecoming?
You know, I thought it was actually a very enjoyable movie to watch. I enjoyed Tom Holland as Spider-Man like a lot. I liked like the very much like the human aspect of him, because like I feel the way he played it, anyone could be in his shoes kind of thing. And I thought the plot was like, you know, pretty good as well. There's nothing like too crazy, nothing too out of this world, but just like the right amount. And it was like a lot of it was Spider-Man. Like Iron Man was there here and there, like maybe 2 or 3 times, but that was really it.
Yeah,
and no one else, you know, was there.
Iron Man takes on sort of like a mentor kind of a role in this movie. Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense, because in Civil War, like Iron Man is the one that recruited him, and so we even see that in like in the beginning of the movie. It sort of like goes through roughly the events of Civil War, but we can talk about that more in depth later. But yeah, I think I think, like you said, Tom Holland does a great job. I think he really like he gives off the vibe of an actual high school student.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Maybe that's what it was.
And because I know he was actually a teenager. I don't remember how old he is or how old he was. I think that may actually be one of our trivias later, but I know he was actually a teenager when they filmed this first movie.
Oh, okay. So he was already like straight up prepared for it then, because he had just gone through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like felt extremely relatable to him, like even with like his friends and like the Lego and all that stuff without getting into too much detail, but like even the friendships that he would hold and like having to hide things from his aunt. It was like sneaking out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was relatable.
Another thing that is interesting is Spider-Man is, I think, the only like Marvel superhero in the MCU that has a secret identity. Like everyone else, like people just know who they are. Like people know that Tony Stark is Iron Man. People know that Steve Rogers is Captain America and all that stuff. But it's like an important, I guess, point in this movie that he's trying to keep it a secret from everyone that he is Spider-Man.
Right.
But yeah, I think overall, I would say this is one of the better Marvel movies. I'd say it's at least in like the top third.
Wait, what?
Did you not hear any of that?
No, I heard it's in the top third, and then I thought you were gonna keep going.
No, like top third,
it?
like top third of my ranking. Like if you split all the Marvel movies into 3 sections, it's in the top third.
I was so confused. I was like, is that the sentence? Am I not hearing him right now? Interesting.
Definitely would recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it is definitely my like top few movies of the Avengers for sure, just because it's so relatable and not there's like not much going on, but it like you can dive into the storyline with the way it's being told.
Yeah.
It's like a very linear line versus like jumping around to different viewpoints and whatnot.
All right. Well, I do believe it is time, Luca, for us to step into the boxing ring.
Oh boy, here we go.
I believe it's your turn to go first.
Okay, let's see. Spider-Man having longed Spider-Man. What's Spider-Man's real name in the movie?
Peter Parker.
Oh, Peter Parker. Oh, yeah, true. I should have known that. Peter Parker being Spider-Man is helping his neighborhood from the crime sprees that are happening, trying to get Tony Stark's, aka Iron Man's, attention, longing for a new project with the Avengers. When Spider-Man runs into a group robbing a bank in his neighborhood, he discovers a weapon that is not from this earth and has made up his mind to chase this criminal on his own to again get Iron Man's attention. That's it.
All right. I'll say in Spider-Man's first solo film as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a group of arms dealers use stolen Chitauri technology to start manufacturing advanced weapons. Peter Parker, when Peter Parker discovers these weapons, he must balance between his personal responsibilities and his desire to become an Avenger. That's what I've got.
That's good. That was very solid. I can't believe you took what I said and just made it better.
All right, we've got, following the events of Captain America Civil War, Peter Parker, with the help of his mentor Tony Stark, tries to balance his life as an ordinary high school student in Queens, New York City, with fighting crime as his superhero alter ego Spider-Man as a new threat, the Vulture, emerges. I feel pretty confident about that.
I did not say anything about the fucking Vulture.
No, neither did I.
Yeah, you got this one.
But I got the balance thing.
Yeah. Damn it, dude. Should have said the Vulture. Okay, you win. Fair and square.
Well, then we will take a quick little break, and then we'll come back.
Break time.
And look at where we are now.
Would you look at this?
We are past our break.
Would you look at this?
And we are about to get into our spoiler review. So
wait, is it time?
I think it's time.
This is the spoiler section. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen.
It's been a while.
Wow. That felt so good. It felt so good. We're back, baby. We're back. Almost to, the day and age that we're living in right now. Nice. Okay, well, where should we start spoiling everything about this movie?
I will start wherever we want to start. The first thing I'll say is I feel like I really liked all of the superhero moments. I feel like there's 3 main scenes where Spider-Man is doing superhero-y stuff. There's the montage in the beginning where he's just running around the neighborhood. There's the rescue at the Washington Monument, and then there's the scene with the ferry. And I feel like all of those, even though there were varying levels of success, I think all 3 of those were very good scenes of showing what kind of superhero Spider-Man is, and him constantly thinking about not only catching the bad guys, but also making sure that any nearby civilians are safe. And he's he's a very proactive in terms of the hero-y part, and not so much the vigilante part. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why do you think that he's more of the hero-y part versus the vigilante? Why do you think that's so?
I think it's just because Peter Parker is a good kid and he cares about people, and we even see when he's trying to stop that bank robbery and then they blow up the deli thing across the street, he immediately is no, I'm not going to worry about these robbers anymore. I need to go make sure that the person who works there is okay, because that's the priority.
Right. Okay, I get that. But I wonder, is there ever a point, and granted, I honestly just don't know, is there ever a point where Spider-Man in the comics or anywhere does turn kind of vigilante evil?
I mean, there are a bunch of different storylines and a bunch of different Spider-Men for that matter, but there have definitely been some darker things, but I don't know that I'd say Spider-Man has ever been a straight up bad guy.
What about that one Spider-Man that was all black? Was there a point where there were 2 different Spider-Men and they're going against each other because they're from different universes and stuff?
Well, the black Spider-Man is, so at one point he merges with a alien substance known as a symbiote, and it makes him more aggressive, but he's not a villain. He's just he's just a more aggressive hero. He is not worried about actually hurting people, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then at one point the symbiote separates from him and then attaches to another person and becomes Venom, which is sort of I guess an anti-hero. He is definitely murders people, but he usually murders bad people. So
okay. I think I've watched a few shows with Venom.
Yeah, they have they have 2 Venom movies that came out within the past decade, and then in the original Spider-Man trilogy in the early 2000s, they also had Venom was included in those movies, or I guess specifically in Spider-Man 3.
Okay, I don't think I've watched the Spider-Man 3. I don't know. It's really hard for me to pull out movies like that, because I just honestly don't know what I've watched and what I haven't watched. I just can't recall. Anyway, where were we going with that regarding to our movie? We're just talking about how Spider-Man's a good guy typically.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. He's always going to be the good guy.
But yeah, there's a comic series called Marvel Zombies where all of the superheroes become zombies, but they're not stupid zombies. All that the exciting thing about them is they still have all their superpowers, but they also are still mentally aware of everything, and so it creates a lot of tension and it's especially prevalent with Spider-Man because he's such a good person, where he has this like overwhelming hunger to eat people, but he knows in his head that that's wrong, and so he's like kind of trying to fight himself about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Man, I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, what more can they do to think of like ways to make money, you know? Like all of a sudden all the superheroes are fucking zombies, like genius, you know? Yeah. Genius. That's crazy.
Yeah, he does a lot better than like some other superheroes are just like, well, gotta do what you gotta do. I guess I'm gonna eat people.
Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. Eat them.
Yeah, but it becomes.
But they don't have that in this movie.
No, there are no zombies in this movie.
Just so we don't confuse people. Okay, well, I'm gonna kind of reel it back in because the first scene that we kind of see, which I thought was pretty cool, was them scavenging, like a group scavenging this giant alien thing, and then another group comes in and they're like, hey, this is our project now.
It takes
you
place
guys just
right
disappear
after,
basically
right after the first Avengers movie. They're cleaning up after the Battle of New York.
Okay, yes, with like the giant monster thingy. So what were like, okay, so they kicked him off and then the guy was like, screw this, now we need to, you know, feed our families, and so they kept a few of like the alien parts and somehow used them to make like extreme weapons and stuff like that. So my question is, man, how I don't understand in some of these movies, like even with Tony Stark, how they portray some of these people as being like so geniusly super smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know with this alien tech that like how to tap into it and all of a sudden make all like these weapons, such as like an anti-gravity hammer or like these little, I don't even know what it was. They like spread out into a square and they can basically,
well, they do sort of
any solid surface.
They do. There's two things that I feel like alleviate that. Is one, they like one of the people on the team, like his only job is to mess around with all of the alien tech and figure out how to use it. But then also right after that first scene with them like getting interrupted by the Department of Damage Control, there's like a title card that shows we're like skipping. It says 8 years later. I remember there was a bunch of drama about that.
Right.
Because the 8-year timeline that they give doesn't really line up with some other stuff that has been shown in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
So whether or not it's actually supposed to be 8 years is debatable, but we get this title card that's basically like they decided to start doing this stuff, and then 8 years later they at that point they figured it out.
Okay.
And so when you
That's
have
still not a lot of time, I feel like
a super smart person and 8 years to figure out how to use the technology.
Yeah. Well, it's not only like using the technology though. It's like it's building a whole new like thing that the world has never seen before. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just really hard for me to, and it's one guy. I don't know.
That's fair. I think some of it was like more, I guess, extreme than others. Like you said, the whole like the thing where they can like throw it down and then go through walls is probably the most extreme example. But like something like the Vulture's flight suit, like that was very realistic. Like that, they could probably make that with normal stuff. I don't even know that you would need alien technology for that.
Right. Like that I totally understood. But you know, some of this other stuff, I was just like, damn, bro, like not even Tony Stark could think of this.
Oh, I'm sure he could.
Yeah, probably. But it would take him more time, and it would take him like, you know, giant robots and another robotic brain to do it. I don't know.
Nah.
But yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, right after the intro, we get is what I had alluded to before our break, is we get a little like short film from Peter Parker, like he was filming with his phone, and so it sort of recaps the events from Civil War, where you see him like getting driven around by Happy, and then they get to a hotel and he gets a new suit. And then there's even like a couple clips from the airport fight where he's like, oh my god, I just
filming during the fight
stole Captain America's shield and it was crazy and all that stuff.
Yeah, like he thinks it's like all a game. He like, because he doesn't really know yet, you know, what all is going on. He just was like, hey, you know, take Captain America's shield. He's like, yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
So I like at that point, I don't even know if he knew that it was like a serious, like real fight.
I think because I think during the video at one point he like said that he didn't know that much, but he was like, I think it has something to do with like Captain America becoming like an outlaw or something like that, or I don't know what specific phrase he used, but he knows that some of the Avengers are doing bad stuff and he needs to stop them. But I don't.
So he did know.
But I think that's about as detailed as information as he got.
Okay. Yeah, but I thought that, I mean, even that is like something that like some kid would probably do, like, you know, film while something crazy like World Star kind of stuff.
Yeah.
World Star, look at these guys fighting. Oh my God, I'm in the middle of it.
Does anyone still use World Star Hip Hop?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I mean, I'm sure the website still exists, but I don't know that it's as popular as it used to be.
You know, I've never actually gone on the website. I've only seen like the clips of it.
Yeah. Wild.
But yeah, crazy stuff.
But yeah, I just thought it was I guess like kind of like fun and cute that they had the little like homemade video at the beginning there.
I agree. Because I mean that kind of sets us up for how he's going to be throughout the whole thing, you know?
And it also like brings it like that also helps settle it down into being a teenage character, because obviously everyone else is adults and they're like, you rarely see them on their phone unless they're like making an important call. But like obviously as a high school student, he's gonna be on his phone all the time. Right.
Yeah. Right. And I also like kind of like how annoying he is portrayed, like how clingy almost towards, I forget his name now.
Happy.
You know who I'm talking about? Happy
Hogan.
Yeah, like how clingy, how happy or how clingy he is towards Happy, and how you can see that Happy is just straight up annoyed with like this kid.
Yeah.
But you know,
and you see like
for how he's going to be that throughout the whole movie.
Right. And so that's like the entire setup is you have like this whole exciting opening scene where he goes and helps Iron Man, and then he's just like sitting at home for months on end and he keeps texting Happy and he's like, hey, ready for my next mission? Like, what's going on? And you see there's just like, he scrolls and there's just like hundreds and hundreds of messages and he's never gotten a response.
Yeah. And like he leaves like tons of voicemails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what we do find out like later down the line is that the voice, like what he was sending Happy actually did make it to Stark, which I thought was interesting.
Happy was reading all of the texts and listening to the voicemails. He just didn't respond to them. And then he passed along any important information to Tony, obviously.
Right. Which, I mean, they should have probably told him about, because none of this really, like, there was a fairy incident in this movie that would never have happened if it wasn't for them actually being like, hey, we're reading your stuff and we're taking it seriously.
Well, I mean, Tony did kind of tell him after the fairy. He said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said, you don't need to deal with this. There are people that will handle this. And
yeah, but that was after the fairy. I'm saying the fairy would have been totally prevented if they were just like, hey, we got your message and we're trying to take care of it, you know? Because what had happened was, for the audience, for people listening, is it was after the fairy, because
I think that was the first time that he fought Vulture, because remember Vulture like picked him up into the sky and then dropped him into the water, and then the Iron Man suit came and rescued him, and then he gave him the whole speech. He was like, leave it alone, don't mess with this. And then he did keep messing with it, and then that's when the fairy thing happened, and then after the fairy he got really mad at him.
Yeah, but he also felt like no one was listening to him. I think that's why he did what he did.
Oh, for sure.
Is because, I mean, he just thought no one was listening to his like real problems, like real dangers that he's hearing about. And so he had to take it into his own hands. If Tony would have been like, hey, we understand like the dangers and all that, we're going to take care of it, and like tell the teenage kid that straight up, I think it could have been different.
Probably.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Although I don't know if it would have, because even if he said, hey, we're going to handle it, I don't think Spider-Man would just be like, all right, I'll just sit on the sidelines and not do anything.
That is also fair. That's, maybe Stark's idea was, hey, if I ignore the kid, then he like won't want to be won't ask to be involved in it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I also liked during the montage where he's like going around like fighting crime in the neighborhood and stuff. There's like that, I think he's like a hot dog vendor or something, and he's just like, hey, Spider-Man, do a flip.
Yeah. And he did it.
That was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I kind of had like an experience like that last night when I was driving home from like that professional biking race.
Yeah.
Where I was like on the road, I was just like minding my own damn business, listening to my music with my windows down, and these guys roll up next to me, and all 4 windows get rolled down by this car, and they go, "Yo, are those lights up in your car?" And I go, "Yeah," because I have like these ditch lights. And you go, "Oh, damn, nice. Do you off road?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Are those lights bright?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Hit him for me." And I hit him, and they're like, everyone in the car was like, "Oh, those are bright." So it was kind of like that, where it's like, turn your lights on.
Yeah.
Just a funny sidebar. But yeah, Spider-Man. He's a kid that likes to show off.
Yeah, I guess well, I don't know if I'd say show off. He just like, if someone asks him to do something, he's gonna do it.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's talk about that sandwich shop for a little bit, because we did mention it, where the bank was being broken into and they had like this laser gun thing.
Yep.
And it kind of like sliced through the sandwich shop that Peter Parker was known to go to and had like a good relationship with the owner.
Yeah.
And the cat. And the first thing that I thought of was like, I wonder if this is a real place in New York. And I should have looked it up. I definitely didn't. But like, I wonder if that was like kind of like a promo for the man. Like, I just wonder if that was like a real place in New York with like, you know what I mean? Or if they made that up.
That's a good point. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm sure all the people inside were actors, but it could be like a real location.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But if I'm remembering correctly, it also had like a very generic, like it was just like deli or like corner store, like something like that. It didn't really have like a name.
Yeah, but I mean, that's fucking New York for you. I mean, I remember where my sister lived down there in Brooklyn. They had something just like that on the corner store.
Yeah.
On the corner, like a little sandwich place that had like a super generic name, like no creativity. But, you know, it like they started that maybe 50 to 100 years ago, and it's been passed down generations, that kind of thing. But yeah, that just popped in my head. I wonder if like it's real, because it was in Queens, New York.
Right.
But yeah.
You been to Queens?
I have actually. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice area. Not really much to say. Kind of just went through it. I didn't stay there.
Right.
I stayed mostly in Brooklyn.
The other thing was what he, I'm trying to remember the way he ordered a sandwich. It was like, he said like, smush it.
Yeah. Press it down firmly, like flatten it for me.
Yeah.
Something like that. Which is, I mean, the guy was like, "Hey, number 15. He was like, yeah. Can you put, I think he put like chips and pickles on it extra and like to flatten it for him.
Pickles sounds right. I think it was pickles.
Yeah. Something on there. And I was like, this is I mean, obviously that's a good way to make him like a local.
Yeah. I always find it so amusing when someone has like a specific way that they like to eat something. Like, I feel like I usually...
Do you have anything like that?
Not that I know of. I feel like most food, I just like eat it the way it is.
I have one thing where I eat it like very specifically.
What's that?
And it's a sandwich.
How do you eat your sandwich?
If I have a sandwich in my hand, and I have like, you know, the top and the bottom half, I have to, I like hold the sandwich with my middle finger and my thumb in the middle of the sandwich. And then I'll use my pointer finger and my pinky to like rotate the sandwich. And so I eat all like the outside crust first, and then I like rotate it in slowly.
Interesting.
I eat my sandwich like on a like rotating hand, like it rotates. It just rotates. I eat the crust first, and then I start like going in, and it's like very even and very pleasant, because it's like,
yeah,
it's always a circle.
I definitely, I feel I have specific ways that I eat certain things, but I don't have specific ways that I prepare certain things. Like with like your circle eating,
okay.
like that's not something that you could ask the person making the sandwich to do, because that's just how you eat it.
That's true. Yeah, no, I don't have anything like smush it for me, please, kind of thing. But
you're like, could you cut the crust off? I just want to eat that separately.
People do that though. People do that, and they're 5 years old. The crust is the best part. Sue me.
Or like people that refuse to eat pizza without folding it.
Yeah. Or they have to have ranch to be able to eat pizza.
Yeah. Ranch on pizza is good, but pizza is also delicious without it.
Oh, I agree. Oh, 100%.
I'm not really... I feel like in high school, I went through a short phase of pizza folding, but I'm not a big folder.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. It's weird to me. It takes away from the experience of eating a pizza.
I feel like it's just like it's too much crust flavor. Like, obviously you still get the stuff on the inside, and it's like it's good, but I want like that separation of like one half tastes like crust and the other half tastes like all the toppings instead of just like all smushed together. I don't know if that makes any sense or if I'm just crazy, but
kind of a little bit, a little crazy, a little sense. So we find out that he's a weird eater with sandwiches, which is another nice little human thing. Maybe next time I'll go to Subway, if I ever go to a sandwich place, doesn't matter which one, and ask him to smush it. I wonder what they would do. Like, would they?
I mean, they probably smush it.
They probably do it. Yeah.
That was also during that scene is when we had our Stan Lee cameo. Did you catch it this time?
Wait. Oh, yes. Where he was like, don't make me come over there. No, he said, don't make me come down there, you punk.
Yeah.
Because they were being all loud. And then there was some other line.
No, because one of the other ladies across the street was like, hey, how you doing? And he was like, I'm doing good. How's your mother?
Yes. Yeah. Every time I see him now, I'm like, oh, there's the owner. God, that one trivia really, good trivia back in the day. What did you think of Spider-Man's suit technology?
I liked it. I think there was so much that I like. I wanted to spend a little more time exploring it. Like, I know it doesn't really matter, but like it said there was like
over 500. Like,
yeah, it was like a bunch of like web combinations and different like combat modes and stuff. And I kind of liked that scene where he was like trapped in the vault and he just like started like, he was like, yeah, let's do that refresher training thing. And it was just like him going through a bunch of stuff. I wish that was a little bit longer because I really enjoyed seeing all of the random stuff that the suit can do.
That's so true. That is so true. And I liked what did he name the suit? He named her Karen. Yeah. Which is actually really funny. I wonder if that was before the Karen phase. Yeah, exactly. Hey, lady. Yeah, okay. So I totally agree with that. I wish they would have explored the suit more because the suit had, like, Karen had her own personality.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely loved. And I wish we would have gone in that more. Like, he was like, do what you want. And like, she would like go into like killer mode and he'd be like, no, we're not trying to kill anyone.
And then he like at one point he just like starts talking to her about his crush and he's like, yeah, I just like don't know if I should tell her. And she was like, yeah, go for it, whatever.
Yeah, just do it. And then up in the Pentagon,
Washington
Monument, she was like whispering in his ear, now's your chance.
Yeah, she's like, kiss her.
Yeah. Oh, and I low-key at that moment I was like, he's in that Spider-Man pose, he was upside down, like that's where that Spider-Man kiss could have come in.
Yeah,
but it's weird because ever since that Peter Parker back in the day, I haven't really seen much of like romantic Spider-Man anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the movies back then were very romanticized with like the woman actress being a big role. And like a big thing being like him being in love with her and doing anything for her and protecting her. But in this one, it's a bit more removed from that.
Yeah, because I think like that's the other thing is the other two were like the original Spider-Man trilogy and also the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy were very relationship focused. And I feel like this one is like pre-relationship, like Spider-Man doesn't have a girlfriend yet, and so he's just like doing normal high school stuff. Yeah,
that's true. But like they could have done like, I mean, they kind of did it with like the high school drama of a relationship.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And him
they touched on it, but they didn't go full in.
Invite her to the homecoming dance and like all of that stuff, and that actually becomes. I guess we can talk about that now, but when he goes to pick her up and then realizes that her dad is the Vulture.
Oh my God.
Tense.
That was unbelievable. I mean, right when he opened, so this was my thing. I thought that the Vulture had already known at that point who he was when he rang the doorbell and opened the door.
Yeah.
I thought that he had like kidnapped her home because obviously she was mixed.
Right.
Or African American. I mean, I didn't know that at the time. And he opened the door and it's like this white, just like a white Caucasian man, like typical white dude standing there, and it's the Vulture. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, he just like kidnapped her and all that stuff. But the Spider-Man didn't even like care. He just walked in there without knowing for sure that it was safe, which I thought it was interesting.
He definitely, like, you could see the fear in his eyes, and he like when
Oh, absolutely,
he invites him
yeah.
inside, and he's like, "Oh, you must be Peter. Come on in." And he's just like, "Okay." And like the entire time, he's just like staring at him and trying to like figure out what's going on, even when they're like trying to do their cute homecoming pictures. Peter is just like staring over at her dad.
At the dad. Right. But like, isn't it weird though that he even went in there in the first place?
Well, I mean, it'd be even more weird if he was like, "Nope, never mind."
I mean, it would be, I mean, not really, because he's looking for his African-American date, and there's just super white dude that answered the door.
Yeah, but he said, "You must be Peter."
I think I'd be at the wrong house.
He knows, like, he knew he was coming.
That's true. But like, that just sounds like a trap. I don't know. If I was in Peter's shoes, I would have turned tail and dipped out of there real quick.
Well, that's why you're not a superhero.
True. That's why I'm still alive and Peter's getting hurt.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
He also
but that
has,
whole scene was intense.
like, super
I
strength.
agree.
So
yeah, exactly. He'll be fine. And the guy didn't have a suit on or anything crazy. So
yeah.
But yeah, so he discovers that Peter is actually the Spider-Man in the car because of his daughter's big mouth.
Yeah, honestly, she ruined everything.
Dude, she really did. Like,
she was like, "Yeah, you just like," because I think that at first they were talking about the thing at the Washington Monument, and he was like, "Yeah, well, I wasn't like in the elevator," and he was like,
Well,
and then they started talking about the party, and his daughter's like, "You completely disappeared," and he's like, "No, I didn't," and she's like, "Yeah, you always disappear."
Yeah. Well, it started off with like the internship, right?
Yeah.
They were like, "Yeah, what does he do? Like, what do you want to do in your life?" And she was like, "Well, like right now he's doing like Tony Stark internship." And he goes, "Oh, are you? Very cool." And he goes, "Yeah." And then she said, "Oh, and he knows Spider-Man." And he's like, "Oh, do you?" Spider-Man. And he was like, "Yeah, he's a cool man. And then, that's then the part what you just said came up where he just leaves at the opportune times. And I think that's when it clicked with the dad. He was like, "Oh, interesting." And then so she got out of the car and he was like, "Hey, yo, I'm gonna do the father talk,
Yeah.
And then he pulled out a fucking gun.
He straight up pulls out a gun.
He straight up pulls out a gun and just holds it by the passenger seat. And it's like, "Listen, either you forget all this or I'm gonna kill you." Okay, I'm gonna kind of like back up a little bit.
All right.
When they showed Captain America like working out or something in the gym, and he was like walking.
TV.
Yes. Did you see that girl benching a book?
No.
There was a girl on the ground doing like an exercise, reading a book. Like she was benching a book.
That's hilarious.
And I had to write that down because I was like, what? Why? Like, why would they put that in there? This chick is just benching a book. And I didn't know if like that was meant to be like, obviously it was meant to be funny, I think.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you had caught that because
she like, "Oh, I don't want to work out. I just want to read. So I'll just make it look like I'm working out."
Yeah, exactly. Like a big old nerd.
I also like
kind of what I would have done
with the when the gym teacher was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure Captain America is a war criminal now, but it's state law that I have to show these videos. So I guess it is what it is."
Yeah. Wait, so he was a criminal at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he didn't sign the Sokovia Accords, and he was out superheroing without government consent.
Right. Yeah, that was a good part. Let's see. Oh, dude, did you see that Kid Cudi was in this movie?
When?
Pretty sure it was Kid Cudi. You didn't?
I didn't see him anywhere.
You know who Kid Cudi is, right? Let me make sure I got my name right.
What scene?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't Kid Cudi.
Are you talking about Donald Glover?
It's a rapper. Yes, Donald Glover. Yes. But what's his real name?
I mean, that is his real name. His rap name is Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino. Yes. That's what I meant. Sorry. Not Kid Cudi.
His real name.
Dude, Childish Gambino was in here, man.
Yeah.
Oh, when he came in there, I was like, wait, what? I was very confused. He's also an actor?
Yeah, he's been an actor.
I don't know if I knew that, actually.
He was also on, have you heard of a show called Community?
No.
He's like...
But I see it here.
He's like a main person on Community.
Yeah, see, I only knew him from his music. I did not know. And then he was also in some movie called Atlanta.
That's also a show.
Since 2016. Or show. Yeah. Wow. He's actually been in a lot of stuff. He was in The Martian. He was in Magic Mike.
Yeah, in the Martian.
He's in Guava Island, 30 Rock.
In The Martian, he was the scientist who thought up the slingshot maneuver to
Oh.
get everyone back to rescue him.
Okay, I did not know he was in all these movies. I had no idea. He was also in Men in Black.
I'm telling
What?
you, he is an actor.
What the hell? Well, I guess I learned something new every day. I thought like this is like a weird like, oh, look, a rapper is in our movie. Damn, what the fuck? Interesting. Okay, well, never mind. I guess that's not a cool thing.
And he also, I believe he also voiced Miles Morales in a Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, right? Am I sure?
I don't think he was in that.
He was also on. Oh, yeah, it says it here.
Who was he in Into the Spider-Verse?
He was also in an Adventure Time. Let's see. It's on his list of movies. Probably like not a main person, but
he was also in the
let's see.
the Lion King remake, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he was Troy Barnes.
Oh yeah,
Troy
Community.
Barnes in Into the Spider-Verse.
No, Troy Barnes is
No,
a
Into the
Community
Spider-Verse.
character. Unless they like showed a clip of Community on Into the
Oh,
Spider-Verse.
they might have. Yeah, because I'm looking at Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and like on there's a cast list, it says that Donald Glover was Troy Barnes in this movie.
Yeah, he was Simba in the new Lion King movie, and he played
The fuck?
Lando.
Okay,
in,
well,
the Solo movie. It was Ultimate Spider-Man was the show where he voiced Spider-Man.
wow. Okay, well, you know, I thought that was a cool thing, and it is apparently a very common thing. So never mind that. Let's go back to funny things, I guess, in the movie. I liked that when they were at the decathlon. It was a decathlon, right? I'm pretty sure. Yes, I think. Yes. Where he's like talking to his best friend, whom, by the way, has a really big mouth. Like for instance, like when they were in the gym and he was like, "Oh, yep, he knows Spider-Man," because they heard the girls talking about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But anyway, when they were at the convention in their room, I like when Peter was like talking to his buddy. He was like, "I'm not a kid," you know, like talking about like why the suit isn't like basically like trial baby mode.
Mm-hmm.
While he's jumping on the bed, he like gets on the bed and he's like jumping up down. He's like, "Man, I don't know why he made me do like my suit like this little baby mode. I'm not a kid," while he's jumping on the bed. I thought that was like really funny.
Oh, I remember now. I remember why he's Into the Spider-Verse. There was like a little. There was a clip of. There's a clip from Community with him wearing a Spider-Man shirt, and that clip was in the Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
It was just like a short little thing.
Gotcha.
I also liked that. This is a kind of like a positive and a negative, I guess. Because obviously, well, I don't know, maybe not obviously, but this movie was based a lot on like John Hughes films. Like, I don't know, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and like Breakfast Club and like those sorts of movies.
Yeah.
But I liked.
I don't know any of those.
Oh, well, they're very popular movies.
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I don't like. I've never watched them. You know.
But I think it would have been a little nicer if they had just like let the influence like present itself. But then in the scene where he's like chasing the bad guys in the white van and he's like running across like through people's backyards and all that stuff, and then
yeah.
And then in one of them, there's like a TV showing like the exact same scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I just felt like that was a little too on the nose. I think like anyone who has seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off would understand that reference. You don't need to like put it directly in the movie and say, "Hey, we're doing a Ferris Bueller thing."
Wait, I didn't get it. Wait, can you explain that to me? What?
In the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there is a scene where Ferris is running through everyone's backyard, and they pretty much copied that scene in this movie.
Oh, yeah. I would never have known that. Interesting. What do you think that about? Like, do you think it was too much? I guess is that what you're saying?
I'm saying like
basically,
if they had just had Spider-Man running through backyards, I think people would get the hint. Like maybe like not everyone obviously, but like people who are more like familiar with films would be like, "Oh, this is like a Ferris Bueller kind of a thing." But then in the scene, they like there was a group of people in one of the backyards that were watching Ferris Bueller, and so it was just like rather than just referencing the film, they announced that they were referencing the film, and I felt like they didn't need to do that.
Oh, I see. I get you. Okay. Yeah, I can see that being a thing. A little too much.
Another thing I thought it was kind of ridiculous is apparently the high school that they're all going to has just the worst security, because there's one scene where like some of the bad guys just like straight up walk into the school to grab the weird little, like alien gem thing.
Right. They just literally waltz in there and are like looking around for all this stuff. And I'm like, there are two grown men with like this weird device in their hand.
Right.
Roaming those school halls when they're still kids in session. Like,
and then at the end of the movie, Happy pops up and he just like sneaks into the boys' restroom.
Oh my
just
God,
like
right.
super, like, obviously he wasn't doing anything creepy, but like a full grown man walking into a high school restroom is a little weird, and no one stopped him.
Right. In a suit and tie. It's not like you can miss him, you know? Like, this is a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
I was just like, man, this school needs some upgrades, because they're not doing too good.
Right. Yeah, especially, yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Oh, wait. Before I go anywhere, I loved when, because we had already kind of talked about it, like the dance and stuff like that. And then Spider-Man basically took off and started fighting her dad in the parking lot. Well, no, it wasn't her dad that he fought. It was
the Shocker.
Yeah, the Shocker. Yeah, but like that scene before, and then his like Parker's best friend was in the library trying to help him like locate the tracker and whatnot.
Yep.
And I guess someone, I think it maybe had been the librarian, came into the library and she was like, "What are you doing?" And the one thing that this kid could think of was, "I'm looking at porn."
Yeah.
That's the one excuse that he could think of. He was like, "I'm looking at porn. That's what I'm doing." I thought that was great.
Also, just a side note, I really like the Vulture's jacket, his like leather jacket with the fur on the collar. It's a sick jacket.
You like that?
I like that.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Just like, it feels cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to each their own.
Do you not like it?
It's okay.
No,
I'm not a big fan.
Stupid jacket.
It's a dumb looking jacket. I hate it.
I made a negative comment about that jacket. It was so dumb.
Yeah, dumb, bad jacket looking. Let's see. Also, what did you think of the plane that kind of just took off from Tony's tower with all the stuff, and then they had like the plane camo where like there were cameras and they basically reflected what
I think having a self-piloting like autopilot plane is very like Tony Stark kind of a thing. Like, it first of all is like shows a certain level of hubris that he's like, and it'll be fine, like nothing's gonna happen, no one has to be on this plane.
Yeah.
And then also I just like, I think it seems very in line with something that they would do. And the
oh yeah, for sure,
the active camo makes sense as well. I guess it didn't really need to be like super secret, because they're just like shipping stuff to a new location. So I think that was maybe just for like cool like effect.
Cool points. Yeah, I mean, I see that. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I liked that, like, especially they said that there were cameras there, and then when Spider-Man was on it, like he crawled across one of the cameras and it basically displayed him over the entire plane.
Yeah, that was funny.
Which I thought was really funny. But yeah.
What did you think about Flash?
Flash?
Yeah, that's the guy that kept bullying Peter. He called him Penis Parker.
Oh, I thought he was such a fucking douchebag. I hated him, bro. I mean, I was not a fan. I thought that it was a character that they could have done without, honestly. Like, I think I understand that, like, I don't know, man. He was just too much for me. He was just too much. So? Yeah.
I kind of liked him. Not like, obviously he's not a good person, but I think he's a good character. Because
him?
Because you don't want Peter Parker to be one of the cool kids, and part of that is like showing him getting bullied at school. And I know like in like the older Spider-Man movies, like it was like the kind of bully that's like, I'm gonna steal your lunch and punch you and all that stuff. But I feel like Flash in this movie was a much more modern bully, where like he never like wanted to fight Peter or anything like that. He just like made fun of him, and he would just like walk by and be like, "Hey, you're dumb," and then that was it. Sorry, I just knocked my mic.
I don't know.
But I feel like
No, you're good.
Yeah, I just feel like he's a good representation of a modern bully, and I think that just the over the top like selfishness and like you said, like I think he's, for me, he's the perfect level of douchebag.
I can see that because like he still like bows down to him when the professor says something or when the teacher was like, hey, you're off, he's on kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of cringe because like making fun of things that like actually happens to people is just hard for me to get behind.
Yeah, but you don't want to like,
I don't know,
pretend. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily making fun of stuff. It's just like showing stuff that happens. And,
yeah,
like, bullies do exist, and obviously they weren't like, it wasn't like getting all serious and like bullying's not okay and you shouldn't bully anyone. But like, I don't think it needs to be that serious.
Yeah, he was okay. He was funny here and there. Like I like the part where Peter stole his fucking BMW or Audi. Sorry, Audi, not BMW in this movie. This movie is all Audis. And then fucking crashed it. I thought that was great.
He crashed it hard.
And then he was like, hey, can you? He rolled that bitch sideways. And then he was like, hey, can you tell me, like, can you pull up the specs on this car and tell me how to turn these headlights on? I was like, dude, what? Oh man, that was painful.
I also liked, since we like kind of talked about it earlier, but after the ferry scene when he gets like the serious talking to by Tony Stark, I felt like that was a like very good performance from both Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. Like you felt the like almost like fatherly disappointment where he's like, listen, kid, you fucked up hard and I need you to understand that you fucked up.
Yeah. And he's like, it's not the end of the world because that, like, even though you fucked up, it's not the end of the world, but you did.
It was like, what, like, imagine if I hadn't showed up and a bunch of people died and that would have been your fault. Like, you don't want that kind of guilty conscience. Or if something else bad happened and you died, then I would feel guilty about it. And I don't want either of those things to happen. You need to just like,
right.
When I tell you not to like to stay out of it, then you need to stay out of it. And
right.
He was like, it was like grounded him from the Spider-Man suit. He was like, nope, give it back.
He took the Spider-Man suit back.
Yeah. And then one of the like most, I guess, emotional lines is when when Peter says, I'm nothing without the suit. And Tony says, if you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve to have it.
Don't deserve it. Yeah. That was tough. That was tough for him to hear too.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not wrong though.
Yeah, you understand the weight behind that because like that's the same sort of thing that Tony like is going through himself. Like all of the stuff even that we talked about in Civil War with him like trying to be a better person, and like the Iron Man suit is just a tool, but Tony is the hero.
And the thing is, Tony learned that.
Right.
Like even in the movie that we saw previous to this, the kid was like, I mean, aren't you just Tony Stark? Like, can't you just build it? And he was like, oh, fuck, yeah, you're right. Like, the suit isn't me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, brain mattered more than anything.
So, yeah, it just felt like a very, like, personal message that Tony was trying to pass on. And I think Peter wasn't really there at that time.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. And then I liked how Tony, like, when he was saying this stuff, I know he also wasn't taking it lightly because he was like, man, like I really do sound like my dad right now, but it needs to be said. And I think that also like it helps both characters like in their development. I like that happened, like a very, very intense scene. I don't know. I just like that it happened.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. That something fatherly came out of it and he was trying to help and teach this younger hero a lesson.
I think another thing that I wanted to talk about is I really like Peter and Aunt May's relationship. I feel like they have like such a perfect I just like the way that they interact with each other. Like it's not, there is obviously like a deep familial connection and they like love each other, but it's also like a friendship sort of a thing, especially because Aunt May is she's his aunt through marriage. Like they're not blood related.
Right.
And so it sort of leaves a bit of room for them to be like more casual with each other, but you can still tell that like they really care about each other a lot. And like he trusts her to like talk to her about girl stuff and like all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
And
like,
even when they were going to the
trusts him
dance,
enough to like take him to a party at some stranger's house.
exactly.
I enjoy
I mean, she knew that he needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She knew that he needed that like boost almost.
And like just constantly like giving him advice and helping him out with stuff. I really liked the way they were.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Like when like his mom or his aunt showing him like the dance moves and they were like really fucking cringe.
Yeah.
But you know, that was still like really cute no matter what.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole jump to the very end almost?
Okay.
Of Tony inviting Spider-Man over to his new headquarters and basically letting him know like, hey, we're inviting you to be an Avenger and this is your new suit. And then he turns it down. Why do you think Spider-Man turned down this deal that was like his dream to be an Avenger? And then he was like, hey, yeah, that was a test, right? And he was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think it was just like Peter throughout the movie had realized that like, because even like earlier with like the first time that that Tony had saved him from the water, and then there was like the empty suit there talking to him, and he was like, listen, there are like certain problems that the Avengers handle, but this is below our pay grade kind of a thing. And that's why like later we find out like Tony did take him seriously, but he wasn't like personally handling it, but he did call the FBI and tell them about the weapons dealers.
Right.
And so he's like sending the FBI after them, and he did take it seriously. But at the same time, I think like that plus the fact that when he was in the warehouse and he had that conversation with Vulture, and he is like, Vulture was like, you and me were the same. We're just like trying to like take care of our personal business, and we don't need like all of the like big flying superhero guys. Like they don't care about us. We need to take care of ourselves. And I think obviously he was like not doing good stuff with taking care of himself, but I think like to a certain point he did strike a chord with Peter where like all of these things together made him realize that the Avengers are there for these like giant world-ending problems. But like he said, he's like, I think someone needs to be there to just like help the little people, like helping the old lady across the street, or like stopping a bike thief or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, I love hanging out with the Avengers, but I also want to just like take care of my neighborhood because they need me.
Yeah, I get that. And I like how he was like at the end of that, he was like, yeah, was that a test? And Tony was like, that was a test.
Yeah.
And then Tony's girlfriend comes out of the room, like you see like all the reporters, and she was like, wait, where'd he go? And he was like, well, he said no.
Yeah, Tony was like, yeah, he made a very mature decision, and it definitely shocked all of us here, so.
Yeah.
But also going back to the warehouse scene after, because Vulture like uses his wingsuit to knock out all of the columns and the roof collapses on him.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember the first time I saw the movie that felt like a really emotional moment when it was still a little bit emotional when you see him like trapped under the rubble and he's like starts yelling for help and like crying, and it's like you feel the innocence, and it's like it's very heartbreaking like watching him be so helpless.
Damn, really?
Yeah, I thought so.
Huh. Oh.
And then when he like finally gets the strength and like lifts everything up, I felt like the first time I watched the movie that felt like a stronger moment, and then this time that part of the scene wasn't as effective for me.
Yeah, I don't think that was like effective for me like at all, honestly. I don't know why. I before you said it, I didn't even think that was supposed to be like an emotional moment. I had no idea.
Yeah, because it's like
interesting.
It was like him, because they even do, and this is the part that I really don't like about it, is they have the whole thing where he's like, he stares into the water and there's like the reflection where it's half of his face and then half of the Spider-Man mask, and then there's like the echoey voice where you hear Tony Stark talking about, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And like that's what gives him the confidence to be like, oh yeah, even though I don't have my super expensive fancy suit, like I am Spider-Man. And so that like boosts his confidence to like lift all of the shit off of him.
Yeah.
It's like definitely meant to be this like big like triumphant moment, but I don't know, the reflection and the weird echoey Tony Stark voice were like kind of cheesy to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I didn't really care for that part, quite honestly. It kind of like happened and I kind of like moved on. I don't know.
All right.
Nothing about that scene made me feel like emotional. Yeah, that's really the best way I can say it.
I mean, that is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, what else
I don't really have much more. Like in the middle of the movie, we literally went through everything that I said. But at the very end, his aunt saw him in his suit and she was like, "What the hell?" or something like that. I forget what she said.
I think she said, "What the fuck?" But they like cut the movie off like right after the F. So it was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Is there already a movie out that talks about what happens after this one, or no?
I mean, we're not caught up yet, so there are plenty of other movies after this one.
Like regarding Spider-Man with Tom Holland as the actor?
Yeah, Spider-Man will be seen again. I remember you asked the same thing. You asked the same thing last week at the end of Civil War. You were like, "Do you think we're going to see more Spider-Man?" I was like, yes, I do.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because at the very end it said like Spider-Man will return.
Yeah.
That was the second extra scene where they literally showed Captain America and he was like, "LOL, waited for something so little."
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I thought that was so hilarious. I remember people getting like legitimately angry about that in the theater though.
Really? I'm pretty sure I saw this movie in the theaters and I remember that happening, but I don't think anyone got upset that I know of.
But yeah, it's just,
your experience was obviously different.
I mean, I loved it. I just like, and I don't think no one in my theater like yelled at the screen or anything, but I just like remember a general vibe, like when I was like talking to people online and like watching reviews and stuff, like some people like thought it was so stupid because everyone's like, yeah, the credit scene. And then you get to the end and Captain America's just like, "Let me talk to you about patience."
Yeah, right. Like teaching them a lesson.
Everyone was like, "Man, this fucking sucks."
Yeah. I mean, you know, what else are you supposed to do at that point? You don't know.
Yeah, not every scene has to be like, "Ooh, look at all this fancy new stuff we're setting up." Like, it's okay to have a dumb one every once in a while.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's all I had.
And that was really it. Yeah. I mean, what do you think of like the extras? The first extra scene. So the first extra scene is where they showed Spidey's wannabe girlfriend's dad in jail. And a criminal came up to him and who was like, "Hey, I heard that you know what Spider-Man's real identity is." And basically he didn't give him up. He didn't give Spider-Man up, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
Get that he like has like, yeah, obviously he tried to kill him a few times, but you really see that he like has respect for the kid.
Exactly. Like he understands.
And the guy that was talking to him he had, remember he had that scorpion tattoo on his neck?
Scorpion tattoo. Yes, yeah.
So that is actually there is a Spider-Man villain called the Scorpion, and that I think that is like part of them just like throwing a character in there in case they want to use him later, kind of a thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. That's a good way to do it. But I'm all out of things. Do you have anything else?
Nope, that was it.
All right, on to the next.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just jump straight into trivia.
Let's do it.
Not too many factoids here, but some pretty good ones. So our first one is, like we had talked about in the beginning, Tom Holland was actually a teenager. And our first fact here is that Tom Holland was 19 years old when he was cast as Peter Parker and is actually the youngest Peter Parker that has been in a live action movie. Tobey Maguire, when he was cast, was 25 and Andrew Garfield was 26. Those are the two previous live action Spider-Man.
Did you know that? Okay, so maybe this is, I wonder if you have this. He's been wanting to be Spider-Man, and it was like since he was really young. There's like a recording that I saw of him when the movie came out, and it was talking about like him, like, hey, like, you know, what would you want to be in life? And he said he wanted to be a Spider-Man actor. And I was like, damn, he made it.
Nice.
He made it. Yeah, so it's just another little fact that he's always been wanting to play Spider-Man, and finally he got that role.
Look at you bringing your own trivia.
Let's go. I'm making myself proud.
This is also the first solo Spider-Man film to not mention or feature Uncle Ben in any way. Peter briefly alludes to bad things having happened to Aunt May, which implies the loss of her husband, but there's no elaboration and he never mentions him by name.
Oh, shit. You're right. Damn. That's a good one.
Because I think by this point, because there have been so many Spider-Man movies, like we had Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, and then we had Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it's just like every couple years, a new Spider-Man. And by this point, pretty much everyone knows Spider-Man's backstory. And so they just like didn't need to go over it again. And that's why like when we see him in Civil War, he's like already been Spider-Man for, I think he says like 5 or 6 months or something like that. And so it's like he still like just became Spider-Man, but we don't need to see him like just became Spider-Man.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that was nice as well, that we're just like jump into it.
Yeah, that is true. Although I will say I did forget why she was single, like why the aunt was there and not like his parents. I'll be real.
His parents are dead and his uncle also died.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Our third piece of trivia here is that Peter is shown wearing boxer shorts when he puts on the suit, but Tom Holland said that he wore a thong underneath because the suit was skin tight.
Of course. Love that. All the girls going wild, I'm sure. And another fact that people might not know is he got together with a co-actor that was in the movie with him. They're dating.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Zendaya.
Forget her name though. It starts with a Z.
Yep.
Zendaya. Yeah.
This is also her first feature film. She did a lot of work on like Disney Channel, and she was in like shows and stuff. I forget which show she was on, but she's like a Disney celebrity. But I think I'm pretty sure this is her first like theatrical film.
Wow.
And obviously now she's like in Dune and all sorts of other. She's on a HBO show called Euphoria. She's doing big things.
Huge big things. Massive.
And our last piece of trivia here is Kenneth Choi, who plays Principal Morita, also played the Howling Commando Jim Morita in Captain America: The First Avenger from 2011. And in the principal's office, you can see photos of the Howling Commando, which is implied to be his grandfather.
Oh, wow.
So they use the same actor. And then
that's very subtle.
These two characters are related.
Very funny. Yeah, that's like interesting. Very subtle, though. Did you catch that during the movie or no?
I did. They're like right above his desk.
You did?
Like it's like top right. You can see a little photo of his grandfather, and it's just like him in a World War II outfit.
What the heck? You actually caught that?
Yeah.
What the heck? Okay, well, good for you, man.
I almost certainly didn't catch it the first time I saw it, but I saw it this time.
Okay.
But yeah, that's our trivia.
That's beautiful trivia. Good stuff, Cayman.
So
always coming up with some good stuff.
Thanks, I try. So to our audience, as always, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Tell your friends and family about us. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CashFanPod. And if you want to send us a message, you can do so on either of those platforms, or you can send an email to casualfanaticpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if, there was anything you wanted us to talk about that we didn't, or anything that you had a different opinion of than perhaps we did, or if there's any movies you want us to review in the future. We're open to suggestions as well. So literally anything.
Yes, we are.
Say.
Yep. Let us know.
Any last minute thoughts from you, Luca?
No, I just would love for all the listeners to reach out to our podcast socials per like what you just said. We love reading them. We love hearing from the viewers. Thank you to the viewers who come to us also directly. We do appreciate that. But again, reach out to us via our socials. We'd love that even more, I'm sure.
This has been Casual Fanatic. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.